Introduce someone that, a young man that's going to be telling him about his story through life and one of the things that he does regularly. One of my best friends, also my brother. Please welcome up David Stamp.
Hi, as you just heard, my name is David Stamp, and I have been given a very unique opportunity in life, and that is that I am a two-time cancer survivor. One of the lessons that I've learned from my journeys is really counting your blessings. Always keeping your head up and really counting your blessings. And I have a couple of examples of people I've met through my journey, going through cancer, as well as people just I've met in my life, and the importance of keeping your head up. And so one story I'd like to share with you is called about a boy I met during my treatment by the name of Cole. I'll paint the picture for you. That was my first time at first round of treatment. I was kind of feeling sick, didn't feel the best. I was kind of being out of it. I had a little iPod Touch. And so I was trying to just, ignore the world. I was in my little bubble and trying to keep everything out. And I was kind of feeling pretty sorry for myself. And my dad, who was with me, started off this conversation with Cole's parents. And he, got me off my iPod, and I started to have a conversation with Cole. So Cole, he had a brain tumor. Unfortunately, he was not able to survive it and passed away. I honestly believe, though, that those 12 minutes of conversation will be one of the biggest impacts of my life. Even though he was going through much harder treatment than me, he was, sick, he was in a wheelchair, couldn't really move, he smiled. And we're farmers, and so he was wondering what it was like to be on a tractor, to drive a tractor. And that conversation with him and that interaction really put it in perspective. The difference between here I am, going through treatment, but a pretty high chance of survival, not super life-threatening, and here I am talking to a boy who probably knows he won't make it, and he's the one who's smiling and talking about, and asking what it's like. And really, like I said, it put things in perspective and made me realize I'm pretty lucky. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be in a situation where I'm not this life-threatening, and yet I still interact with these people who are going through it. And I can really see what they are thinking and what they're feeling, and from that learn of, putting in perspective, failing a math test isn't so bad anymore. When you really put it in perspective. And also, it kind of made me realize, not re-examine my faith, but really, strengthen my faith. It made me kind of say, why do I believe what I believe? It made me really examine. And a very important thing, the fact of counting your blessings, and when you're going through challenges, is to realize is that God is always on your side. And so, this one Bible verse I found, which I thought was really interesting, is Isaiah 41, verse 10. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be anxious. Do not be anxious, for I am your God. I will give you strength. I will give you help. I will raise you upon my righteous hand. And that really just showed me, God is always with you. He's giving you strength, right? He tells you, do not be afraid throughout the challenges you're going through. And it really kind of just showed me, really count your blessings. Sometimes the suffering in life can be seen, can be used as a blessing. If I didn't get treatment, I never would have met Cole, and I never would have had that impact upon my life. I'm forever changed because of that. But also something I realized, another example, I guess I could say, of my journey, is one of my good friend's brother. So my good friend, I've known him forever. We grew up, we met together actually at an elderly home that my older sisters were part of a group together. But his brother has cerebral palsy. He can't really speak, can't move, other than, jerks. He doesn't really have any control of his body. And you really might think like, wow, that's, kind of a, boring existence. And yet, Dominic is the brother's name, is the one of, and I would argue is the happiest person I know. And that's, another impact. Here's a boy who is stuck in a wheelchair, 12 hours of the day, and and the rest is in a bed, right? So he's always held back. He can't really speak. He can communicate and such like that. But, it's not like a existence. He can't go out and play sports when he wants to. He can't, decide to just sit down and read a book. And whenever I see him, it always cracks me up. He's always smiling. Always. And it just really kind of shows you and puts it in perspective of the sufferings that we go through, of how, sometimes we need a reminder in our life, kind of God's way of saying, I died on the cross and there are other people who are going things a lot worse than you, buddy. Sometimes you have to, learn how to offer it up, right? We have to, offer it up to God and say, there are other people who are going so much worse than my suffering, okay? And my, my little petty arguments with my brother that I have, or my, if I failed math test, or any other school test, right? I can really kind of say, okay, God, I'm offering up to you. I'm offering up this disappointment or the suffering I'm having, because I know there are people who are going through worse. I know there are people. I know that you've gone through worse, and I know that you are always with me, right? Do not be afraid, for I am here, right? He's always next to you, and so you really have to a little bit put it, like I said, put it in perspective and count your blessings.